Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, we're going to be taking the quickest Crosstown route through Lower Manhattan. If you're traveling from Long Island, Northern and Eastern Queens, and Northern Brooklyn, this is the quickest and cheapest route to cross through Manhattan to New Jersey. It used to be free before congestion pricing existed in 2025, so $2.25 is the least toll you'll have to pay. That's the overnight rate, and you need an easy pass, of course. The best time to travel through this route is early rush hour. On a normal day, usually getting here before 6 a.m. is pretty good for weekdays. I get here before 5 a.m. before the regular $9 toll, and it's super quick. I don't usually travel to New Jersey on the weekends, but I usually get here before 8 a.m. and it's pretty quiet. After that, there isn't usually too much traffic and definitely no gridlock. So I would recommend the latest around 10 a.m. So let's time this route from the Brooklyn Bridge to the Holland Tunnel, starting now. The street we're traveling on right now is Delancey Street. Do you notice these new buildings on the left? This used to be an empty lot just about a decade ago. That's because underneath the property sits the old Essex Street trolley terminal. Passenger trolley service operated through the terminal from 1908 until 1948, when trolley service over the Williamsburg Bridge ended. This station was constructed with balloon loops for turning around streetcars after they crossed over the Williamsburg Bridge to send them back to Brooklyn. This street is wide since the early 1900s because it carries traffic from the Williamsburg Bridge. Delancey Street is named after James Delancey Sr., Chief Justice, Lieutenant Governor, and Acting Colonial Governor of the province of New York. This is in the 1750s, whose farm was located in what is now called the Lower East Side, which is the neighborhood we're driving in right now. You might be noticing we're traveling on a red painted lane. Is this a bus lane? Well, no. I've traveled on this lane so many times, and I've never gotten a citation from a cop. This is actually a remnant of the 14th Street Kenmare Tunnel shutdown back in 2019 and 2020 because during Superstorm Sandy, this tunnel was flooded and caused extensive damage to the tubes. It was proposed back in the day when the L train had to be shut down in Manhattan that they would need extra buses to travel on the Williamsburg Bridge and on Delancey Street, so this bus lane was painted. However, the plan was changed so that the L train was only shut down during nights and weekends, and it didn't affect the early morning rush hour. So these bus lanes were just painted red. It was never written as bus lanes except for that one little section between Norfolk and Essex Street. There's only one bus that travels on Delancey Street, which is the B39. The B39's route is pretty short, stopping at Brooklyn near the end of the Williamsburg Bridge, and has two stops in Manhattan on Delancey Street, located at Essex Street and Allen Street. This bus parallels the Nassau Street subway line, the J and the Z trains, as well as the M train. If the subway line exists, why does the B39 exist? The B39 exists because none of these subway stations are wheelchair accessible, but buses are. And that's the reason why the B39 has to keep running. After crossing Bowery, you notice that the street has been narrowed to only 2 lanes. We're on Kenmare Street. We're entering the neighborhood of Nolita, north of Little Italy. New York City has a lot of neighborhood names with funny acronyms. Kenmare Street is the western extension of Delancey Street, running 5 blocks from Bowery to Lafayette Street. It is a major thoroughfare for traffic traveling westbound to the Holland Tunnel. The street was founded in 1911 by Tim Sullivan, son of immigrants Daniel O'Sullivan and Catherine Connolly, who came from Kenmare, County Kerry, Ireland. Let's make a left turn here on Lafayette Street. This street is named after Marquis de Lafayette, a French hero of the American Revolutionary War. Lafayette commanded the Continental Army troops in the decisive siege of Yorktown in 1781, the Revolutionary War's final major battle, which secured American independence. After returning to France, Lafayette became a key figure in the French Revolution of 1789 and the July Revolution of 1830, and continues to be celebrated as a hero in both France and the United States. The IRT Lexington Avenue subway line, the most busiest, with bullets colored forest green, carries the 4, 5, and 6 trains underneath us. It is actually part of the original subway line that opened in 1904, which ran from Brooklyn Bridge City Hall on the east side, crossing west up 42nd Street, up to Broadway in 145th Street. You can see signs for the Holland Tunnel that we need to make a right turn. This is Broome Street. This street is named after John Broome, an early city alderman and lieutenant governor of New York in 1804. The architecture along the street is distinctive for its use of cast iron and is strongly influenced by Griffin Thomas, who designed several buildings along Broome Street, including the Gunther Building. We're also in the neighborhood of SoHo. SoHo is short for south of Houston Street. Yes, that's how it's pronounced, not like Houston, Texas. It was coined by 1962 by Chester Rapkin, an urban planner and author of the South Houston Industrial Area Study, also known as the Rapkin Report. The name also recalls SoHo, an area in London's West End. It's named after William Houston, who was a founding father of the United States, statesman and lawyer. He served the province of Georgia as a delegate to the Continental Congress and later to the state of Georgia in the U.S. Constitutional Convention in 1787. Almost all of SoHo is included in the SoHo Cast Iron Historic District, which was designated by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission in 1973, extended in 2010, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and declared a National Historic Landmark in 1978. It consists of 26 blocks and approximately 500 buildings, many of them incorporating cast iron architectural elements. And many side streets in the district are paved with Belgian blocks. To go to the Holland Tunnel, we need to make a slight left after the split of intersecting West Broadway to the wider Watts Street. Watts Street is named in 1794 for John Watts, who was the last recorder of the city of New York under the colonial government. Watts supported the Revolution and became a 3-time Speaker of the New York Assembly, a Federalist Member of Congress, and a Westchester County Judge. He helped found the Leake and Watts Orphan Asylum and the New York Dispensary. He's probably best remembered today for his gravesite at Trinity Church, which features a prominent statue of him. After crossing 6th Avenue, we're in the neighborhood of Hudson Square. This area, once the site of colonial property named Richmond Hill, became known in the 20th century as the Printing District. Into the 24th century, it remains a center of media-related activity, including in advertising, design, communications, and the arts. So you can see that crossing through Manhattan streets takes less than 8 minutes. If it's gridlock, that's a different story. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next time we're going to be crossing the Holland Tunnel and the Pulaski Skyway.